Welcome back everyone. This is the third part of the owl drawing that I'm working on in the Spectrum, Illustrator and graphic pens. So I'm just going to start trying to fill in this wing part, possibly add in some detail at the bottom. So just bring that up. So we can get a bit of a better camera angle. There we go, I think that's a bit of a better angle. Right, so off we go, just roll up the sleeves. Right, where to start? I'm going to start working on these wing feathers down here. I'm having a little crisis of confidence in this area, so I think we're going to start on these bits down here. So L white, no, one colour. Keep it light, keep it simple. Now that I've tested out the luminance pencil, I know that I can get some white highlights by using that, which is really handy to know. My nib gone? It has. With some of the pens, when you've used them for, I mean, I've used this one only a couple of times, but you can hopefully see the end has gone really wobbly. So control on it is a little bit harder, to say the least. This is part of the fun now. If I was going to keep these pens and keep replacing them, then I would go and buy another nib set and sort that out. But since right now I'm not planning to, I'm just going to have to lump it. It is slightly inconvenient because, yeah, where you think you're putting the ink, it's not quite there. Yeah, I'm going to have to change nibs. There's a pain in the backside. So onto the bullet tip. So the pen's feeling quite light, so I get the feeling this one may nearly be out of ink. And yeah, as you can see, a bit of wear and tear. In fact, let's get that off. So the barrel is now completely clear. You wouldn't know what pen that was. So the only thing that tells me, I haven't really even got an indicator on this pen as to which end's which now. Oh well, these things happen. I haven't really used these pens at all. I suppose it probably happens to all markers. I just don't want it to run out in the middle of this drawing. Otherwise I possibly might cry. That's the point. These bits up here are just white, but I still just want to hint at a tiny bit of colour. White isn't pure white. And there's a tiny bit of fluff there. So I should have a cold grey of some sort around here. BG4 maybe? Ah, IG2. Just going to add this down here. Just a little bit up here. bit over here. So I'm trying to keep all the shapes almost like basic shapes, so triangles and long rectangles and such. This just makes it easier to process. So, light yellow. Not really yellow. The biggest struggle I have with the illustrators is literally that the Flurvinker, the brush is a bit too fast. So I sometimes feel like I haven't got much control over them. But I think it's just a case of kind of getting used to that. I mean, it's great for covering really large areas. Grey. Select darker grey just in here. So I'm going to let that bit dry and then move up onto these bits. So I'm not talking much. Enjoy the silence. It's been a tiring day today. And the thing is, you'll find that if you're tired and you draw differently to if you're awake and you're drawing. If you end up doing a degree or anything like that, something that they'll ask you to look into is the effects of if you're happy, sad, emotional, and if you're tired or awake, and how that has an effect on your style and your movements and your creativity. That RB1 was RB1. RB1. Yeah. TM1 would do quite well here. Blend these in. I'm starting to think RB2 might work quite well. RB2, RB2. So I'll just use that. Yeah, that'll do for an undercoat. So just step back, had a reassess, had a stretch, and I can see areas where I'm going to add in quite a lot more work, but for an undercoat I'm happy with that. The feet, I'm going to end up doing quite a bit of that with colour pencil, I think, because there's a lot of scales and details on there. Right. So I'm going to sort out a little bit of the chest. Thinking, I'd love to use a light blue on there. So let's see what IG2 comes out as. If I start in a corner where I know there's quite the darkest area. Yeah, to me that's a bit too dark. Let's blend that out. Soften that right down. That's better. Now that should dry quite quickly. This paper, when I take it to my printers, if this drawing actually works, this paper is going to come up blue when I have it scanned. And that's by a professional printer with some absolutely amazing bits of kit and up-to-date Photoshop and all of that. And the reason I know it's going to come up blue is because the way that the alcohol reacts with it. He's going to love me. Yeah, last time this happened he really did have a little bit of an upset. Well, I keep him employed. So I think I'm doing my part. And I never ever put a rush on the guy who does my printing. In fact, if you do use a local printer, try to make sure that you go to them at least a month in advance. Don't ever just turn up on the door kind of, oh, I've got this show to do, help, I need this urgently printed, because that's seriously not fair. And you want to keep your printer on your good side, well, on the good side. definitely don't upset them, because if you can get your own little kind of printer person who will do your print runs and all of that and get the quality, it's well worth it. And also they can provide amazing advice. The guy who does my printing, quite often when I've been stuck on a drawing and I've taken it to him to get it produced, I've said to him, do you think this is any good? And he's honest with me. He'll turn around and say, it's a nice image but it's no good commercially, or yep, that should sell really well. So I do value his opinion a lot, because he's an outside source. It's not just my parents or a member of the family saying, oh wow, that's brilliant, yeah, I want a copy of that image. Just because they want a copy isn't going to mean that kind of 75 people at a show are going to want a copy. I tend to do my prints in small runs, so the smallest amount I can do is 36, and that comes to about, currently I think I'm paying £42, so it's not cheap, especially when you do large print runs like I do, but the quality is amazing. They all have details on the back, my web address, all of that on the back of the card. And that way I can use the cards like a business card. So if I give away a couple of cards, that's brilliant. That's getting my name out there. This will do. There's a funny bit here, barring on the wing. And again, somewhere around here. DP1. Yep, that should work. Right, soften those up a bit. slow but cold tea. EB1, colours that. Quite brownish colour. YG2. We need a slightly brighter colour, so we'll go back to the BO2. think I can officially say that my ivory marker is dry, which is a very, very big pain in the bum. So I'm literally just going to use it very sparingly, very carefully, just to pick out a couple of feathers on the chest. Let's see if I put in some of the foot textures. Yeah. Shadow in. Pen that might have just go and walk is right. Where is it? Soften up that area. Softening up all those areas. Don't want really any harsh lines showing through. second. I'm just going to try and get in this little area here. Proper. Oh my god, what the? Oh, sugar. Right, bear me. Mini crisis. Tissue, tissue, tissue. Right, this is why I always carry tissue in my pocket. Right, so basically, the pen's leaked into the cap, and I've just turned the cap over and got a very, very smelly wet hand. Bloody stinker marsy gun. Right, so I'm just going to look sideways at the drawing. Oh my god, that was close. And I released the pressure off the other end. Oh dear me, that was so close. Oh, that woke me up. Okay, that's something I didn't expect. I'm kind of glad that that's the alcohol, but I'm gonna make sure I really wash my hands down thoroughly tonight. Oh my god, I did not expect that. Gonna wake up. Okay, so after that slight inking disaster, I'm just going to keep on spotting little bits of ink here. By taking a dark colour and then just holding the blender down for a couple of, literally just a millisecond, it does create a really nice dapple effect. I use this effect to create a grey Arab dapple horse that I actually met a couple of years ago at the Dorset show. Lovely, lovely, lovely horsies. I actually only go to the county shows just literally to get reference photos of the animals. Though I do find it difficult to go into the pig pens. The sounds of the kind of screaming of pigs is just, ooh. It's a dark sound. But yeah, I get a lot of my photos at the shows, so like this owl. There's the falconry display team there, so with the owls out being walked around and such, it just gave me an opportunity. And most of the time, if you give a donation into the pot and you just ask if you can take a photo, they're normally pretty cool with it. But if you are taking photos of somebody's animal or anything like that at a show, put a donation in the pot. It's just courtesy. Because last year it was quite expensive to actually go to the show as a seller. I went just as a kind of competition, because they do a little show and hobbies, crafts and arts kind of thing. And I had to do 11 images to get enough, how do I put it? I did 11 images so that I made the amount of money that I needed to buy a ticket. So I got a ticket free and then I paid for a ticket. But the prize fund was only like £8, so I didn't walk away with a profit. In fact, I walked away still in debt or debit. But to have a stall at the shows can be several £100s. So you've got to be able to guarantee that you're going to get that money back. And for charities and people like that who aren't there to sell that much, apart from maybe some badges and information sheets, that's an expensive day out. And then you've got petrol costs, welfare, insurance, you name it, all of that stuff. So yeah, if you're at a show of any type and you see people doing a kind of here's an animal and charity work and things like that, just put £1, $1, or just something in the pot. Right, I'm going to call this quits for tonight. I'm getting too tired to draw, and I really, really, really don't want to make any mistakes on this image. I'm quite happy the way it's come out so far. I've still got layers to add on every single area, but for an underpainting, yeah, I'm feeling comfortable with it. So, give that a bit of dirt. Not having dirt on this drawing, I tell you. So I hope this has given you some ideas and inspired you to have a go at drawing something completely different and trying a different medium. So for me, it's trying the Spectrum Illustrator and Graphic pens on just some bog standard card that I got, and it's coming along as I want it. Some of the colours I'm going to push, but I'll probably be doing most of that in colour pencils and only just sharpening up areas that I want to be in focus. I don't mind the rest being quite soft. So yeah, so if we're lucky, might get another show in tomorrow. We'll have to see how it goes. Depends on weather. So till next time, thank you very much everyone for popping by. Have a lovely evening, take care, and happy drawing to you all.